Listen carefully, guys. There's one trick for your kick and bass that all the pros are using, and you're probably not familiar with it. So in this video, I will let you know about it. So PTech EQ is a very, very special way of EQing, and it also comes from an older hardware. It was emulated many times. So I have 3 different ones here. This one is from UHD, this one is from Waves, and this one is from Plugin Alliance. It's called Bettermaker. And they all, you can maybe already tell, look kind of similar. They do kind of the same. You can see that there's this boost, atten, which is attenuate. Right, same way here. You can set a frequency, 20, 30, 60, 100. 20, 30, 60, 100, 20, 30, 60, 100, right? And then also some higher frequencies like 200, 300, 500, 700, peak, dip, okay? Oh, we don't have it on here, but there is actually also the same thing for waves. Let me just open that. It's right there. It's split into 2 plugins, at least in the version I have. But yeah, we want to focus especially on this one, the low one, and maybe also the high one. So PTech is a way of EQing a sound 2 different ways at the same time, and therefore achieving a very special result. So you can already tell that this one is boosting and attenuate is taking something away. And this one sets the frequency. So you might think, that doesn't make sense. If I set it to 60, if I boost 60 and cut 60 on a normal EQ, right? It's canceling each other out. We can test that very easily. Let's say we boost by 6, make another one, kill the 6, and bring them to exactly the same frequency. We would see that this line here, the yellow one, which shows the end result, like this, for example. You can see now it looks like this here. But if we have them on exactly the same frequency, it stays the same. PTech is different. This is more what happens. Maybe even that. And that's pretty cool because essentially we take out a certain frequency just a little bit to boost another one. And you can't imagine, if you have never used it, but after this video, hopefully you will, you can't imagine how much wonder this can do to a kick and bass, for example. Maybe just a bass, or maybe even a master. Sometimes it can even be used on like the master, if you just want to add a little more punch in the low end, for example, or you want to just take away a little bit. And there's so many cool appliances for that. And I want to go through all of those 3 in this section here. And I'm going to start with the Waves one, which is basically the same as the UHD one. It's just different developer. So we have the drum loop again. And now I can set this boost up. And you can already hear that this is boosting the hell out of the, of the kick and bass. And that's already cool by itself. But now what if we do that? Crazy, right? Even though you take away something, you boost a little bit, it feels so powerful. And the same can actually be done in the highs. So basically you set a frequency, let's say 5K, very snappy, end of the mid-range. So cool how you can shift the focus of the sound to a different location in the frequency area. So I shifted the focus basically from like, let's say 10, 15K, where there's actually a lot going on in this drum loop, a little lower to like 5K. Incredible. incredible. I love this plugin. I love this way of working. It's not necessarily this plugin. The same thing applies for PTech in UHD, of course. You also have the mids here, which I'm going to show you real quick. So basically, same thing for the low end. We can also go very low, or we can go more like, let's go for 100 this time. More punch in the 100s. Oftentimes I would prefer the lower settings, and also generally I wouldn't do too much here. Mostly I would go like 1, maybe even less than 1, 2 if it's really necessary, and kind of equalize it to almost the same amount. If I want a little more bass, generally I would go a little lower. If I want a little more less bass, generally you could do it like this. You can also do it different ways. You can also only attenuate, but yeah, generally kind of at the same position, maybe a bit different, not too high. I think maybe for sound design, if you have this, and then let's imagine you have a bass, you do this, you put hard distortion behind, could be very cool. But yeah, same for the high frequencies here. Now for the mids, it's set to certain frequencies, 200, 300, 700, 1000 for peak, which means boosting in this case. And then we have another peak here for 1500, 2000, 3000, 4 and 5000. And then we have dip, which is the opposite, which takes away. And then we can set it also from 200 to 7000. And that's also very cool, but less applicable, I would say. It's a little harder to use it than this one. This is very straightforward. This one, you have to listen carefully. Let's say maybe we want a bit more 1K or 1.5. That's already the question. Do we do it here or there? I would say maybe 1.5. You can always go very hard to try to hear it very well. And then dial it in a little less. And then we could dip maybe at 700 to get kind of the same result. A little boost, a little dip. Now combined with just a little bit boost in the subs. And what we did on the waves, just a little bit 5K. Right, it allows us to shape stuff very well. And that's interesting because we just have a few frequencies. We don't have the availability of any little frequency that we can imagine, right? This is endless. We can set it to, I think I can set it to like even points. Can I set it to something like 0.12? No, it will. I mean, okay, so it's still 1/10 of a hertz. Accurate. And this one just gives me 200, 300, 500, 700, 7,000, 5,000, 4,000. I mean, you know what I mean. And yeah, that's crazy that it works so well. So the last one I want to show you now, and this one is a very special plugin. I found that by accident, and I really fell in love, and it completely cancelled my use of the other two, because it's the same, but a bit better for me. So Bettermaker, don't know how they came up with this name, is also from Plugin Alliance. And what I like about it is that it's just a bit more modern. It has the same idea of this boosting and cutting, boosting, attenuating. It has the same settings like 20, 30, 60, 100 hertz and all that. But around that it's just built a little more modern in a way that you can change a bit more stuff about it. You can go a little bit more detailed. So for example, you see how much it is. This is just a small thing, but you see 0.6, and then I can set this to 0.4 if I want to. Of course, we should go by our ears, so maybe that's not the most important thing. What's most important maybe is that in the mids over here, we can set the frequency without having to choose 200 or 300. This can be good, but also bad in a way, right? It can be good because you can exactly say no, but the problem is at 385, not at 300, not at 500, right in the middle. But at the same time, the frequencies chosen are actually chosen with a thought in mind from the actual developers of the PTech stuff. And it was those frequencies that worked perfectly for their IQ. So it makes it also harder for us nowadays to say, I'm not sure if it was like 838 or maybe 760. My ear is already kind of tired. But having the freedom to do this is actually pretty cool. What's most astonishing for me about this, though, is you see it's two. It's not one. It's actually two instances of the same plugin. But if I move a knob, it does it on both sides. It's actually right now set to left and right. So we have one for the left master channel, and one for the right channel. But if I go to MS, for example, now I have mids right here. Somewhere it should say mid now. Yeah, here, mid, side, and here the sides. If I unlink them now, I can do different stuff on the mids and the sides. And this is incredible. Like, I can go and boost 3K in the mids. And then I can go and boost 12K on the sides. Or maybe 10K, right? So I can even more shape the sound. I can say, all right, here I want this frequency, but here I want another frequency. And that's insane. So Bettermaker it's a very cool tool for mixing. All the three are very cool for mixing, but especially this Bettermaker got me crazy. It really got me crazy. So I hope this was a helpful video for you. I want to let you know that this is actually part of a much bigger video, only available for the people of the 909 Tribe mentorship on Skool. So if you are interested in joining there and not only getting this video, but a video every month, a podcast every month, a mentor who gives you direct and private feedback, and a big community full of music producers that will help you, where you can discuss your questions and ask feedback for your tracks, and even much more, like remix challenges and all, it's way too much to list it here, then you should consider joining us there. Check the link in the description and maybe see you there.